Words appear over a magnifying glass, a Lens 15 media production. Seen from far above, waves roll toward a beach dotted with wooden boats and small dilapidated houses. Mobile phone footage shows a door ripping off its hinges. Trees and debris blow in the wind.
The cyclone came in full force. It was raining so hard and all the roofs blew away. We didn't know what to do.
Miley Pili, Chitama. Text. After intensifying in the Bay of Bengal, Cyclone Fani made landfall on May 3, 2019 in Puri, India. It was the strongest storm to strike India in decades. An interviewer asks, were you the first to catch polio?
Yes, I got it first, and then my sister contracted it.
Miley Pili Bangra Chiti.
I was sitting next to the wall. The chair kept shaking, and I saw the wall sway in the wind.
My husband rushed towards my son. The wall was 5 seconds from crashing down. He managed to swiftly pull my son away. He was frightened and screamed. Our son was almost killed.
Wind peels a metal roof off a building.
My mother and father carried us and we left our place.
They held you both?
Yes, my mother carried me on her shoulders and my father carried my elder brother.
A young woman is lifted onto her mother's back and carried across the beach.
We carried them on our shoulders and walked a long way on the road. We were drenched from the strong wind and rain. Metal sheets were flying in the air.
The young woman's eyes glisten.
Climate change is not something that's going to come tomorrow.
A map zooms into the Indian Ocean and the Bay of Bengal. Text. Coastal South Asia faces stronger storms, floods, and sea level rise as the Indian Ocean warms. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change.
You see, climate change is impacting all of us now. Everyone. People with disabilities get impacted the most.
A montage shows people who are carried, crawl, use wheelchairs, and a woman without a left arm. Text appears over storm clouds. Invisible impact. Disability on climate change's front line. A map zooms into Bhubaneswar in eastern India. A man pushes Shruti Mohapatra of Swabiman in a wheelchair.
If you look at people with disability as a population, there are many reasons why they get impacted the most. They are the poorest of the poor. They are the most underprivileged.
She wears a bindi on her forehead.
These are the people who lose everything in the situation of emergency, especially when it's a natural calamity.
Around a dozen men in orange vests run through a village. 2 carry a stretcher.
When you are talking about the rescue and bringing people to safer places, are we thinking about access?
Rescuers carry an elderly man to a wheelchair. A map zooms to Dhaka, Bangladesh.
Bangladesh is one of the mostly impacted country by the climate change. Because of the climate change, there is tornado, cyclone, flood, high tides.
Vashkar Bhattacharjee, disability and accessibility advocate. A flooded village.
16 million people with disabilities in Bangladesh. It is impacting their life and livelihood. It is impacting their mobility. It is impacting their educations, and also it is impacting their movement.
On the street, he holds a long white cane. In Shitakunda, Bangladesh, a woman crawls through a doorway.
My name is Sumi Jalada. I cook for my brother. I don't know any other kind of work.
She arranges cookware. Interviewer, do you use a wheelchair?
I can't push it on my own. I don't have much energy, so I don't use it. If I have to go somewhere, my brother pushes me in it.
She crawls on her hands and knees along a brick pathway. This area is prone to cyclones, floods, and tidal surges. You have problems with your legs. So what kind of problems do you face by living here?
I feel afraid. If my brothers take me, then I can evacuate. Otherwise, I have to stay inside the house. If my brothers stay home, then I stay home too.
She kneels alongside a walkway.
When it comes to evacuation and sheltering and providing disaster response mechanisms, Often persons with disabilities, especially women with disabilities, tend to get left behind, especially for those who may have communication-related impairments or mobility-related impairments.
Naluka Gunawadina, University of Kelania.
I get worried. If anyone evacuates and leaves me behind, then I'll die. Even before they evacuate, I start crying.
Dark clouds. 3 men wearing rain gear walk, holding umbrellas. One holds a microphone. Be cautious and help others to be. For everyone's attention in this area, your livestock, precious papers, and belongings should be protected by your own. Nobi in Shidukunda walks with a long white cane.
There was a number 7 cyclone warning, and the Red Crescent was making announcements over a megaphone. My wife and children were getting ready to evacuate to the shelter, but I was in the front room of my house, and they went out through the back door. They just forgot about me.
When we talk about accessibility, it is invisible for people without disabilities. If people have been observing and watching what's happening around the world regarding climate change, we are the world's most low-lying island nations in the world, maybe the low-lying country in the world.
Aishat Nazat, president of the Maldives Paralympic Committee. A map zooms to the island Malé, Maldives.
Some islands are very small, and we have very small populations. And if there's a sea swell, you can see the sea swell coming, and sometimes it comes into people's houses and homes, and it's quite vulnerable, I would say.
She rides a manual wheelchair down a ramp. Waves crash against tetrapods. Text: sea level rise and wave-driven floods will make many low-lying atoll islands uninhabitable by mid-century, according to an article published in 2018 in the journal Science Advances. On Muli in the Maldives, a man with dark, shoulder-length, wavy hair operates a power wheelchair toward the waterfront.
Before I was a normal kid like others. I was walking like others. But there was an incident, and now I have this problem. What I can say is that on this island, a person with a disability cannot escape from a tsunami and make it to the shelter on his own. It's not accessible.
He rides past a staircase.
It's impossible without help from others.
Surf instructor Kaif Ahmed grits his teeth. His eyes flutter. Text appears over a staircase leading into a 3-story building. Following the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, officials built a community center that doubles as an evacuation shelter on the island Muli. It was built without a ramp.
How many lives can be saved if we are in a position like that? I think most people will be rushing up. And who would see that person there, right? There is no way that the person can be saved.
In Puri, India, the young woman, Maili Pili Bhavani, is hand-fed by her mother.
We had no one to feed us in the shelter. We'd have one meal and then starve for the rest. We needed our parents for everything, taking us to the bathroom, to feeding us. We couldn't do anything by ourselves. We are dependent on them for everything.
Accessibility is not just about a ramp or an accessible toilet. It's much broader than that.
A woman wearing a hijab struggles carrying a short man.
Accessibility is not a homogeneous thing. There are several categories.
A man and woman
Each
sign.
category has its distinct needs. How to rescue? It is very important for the village teams to know where to touch, where not to touch. Because when you touch people in the wrong places, consider me. I'm a person with spinal cord injury. My body goes into spasms if you don't touch me in the right place. Many of them need batteries for their hearing aids. Do we think about that? Do we consider it? So if we don't address these, you have a large number of people who don't have information and get left out.
In Bhubaneswar, India, 2 men sign to each other. Bijay Kumar Parida, founder of the Odisha Association of the Deaf, speaks through an Oriya interpreter. He has thin, grey hair.
Just by looking at us, An official might think we are an ordinary person. They would notice if someone was blind or had a physical condition, but not if someone is mute or hearing impaired. There are no sign language interpreters there. We don't even know what's offered or when we can eat.
And then, of course, comes the relief and the rehabilitation stage. Many people come with different kind of assistive devices.
A map zooms into Puri, India. A woman rides a three-wheeled motorized scooter through alleyways. Puri Janaki Reddy.
It was 6 in the morning when Cyclone Fanny began. Sky was so dark. I brushed my teeth as fast as I could and rode my tricycle to the school. And it started. Funny.
Mobile phone footage shows a tall crane toppling onto a building. Trees sway.
The wind blew away my vehicle and it was totally damaged. For 3 months, my business was shut down and I had no work. If someone asked me for something, I just had to crawl around to help out.
She crawls to her scooter, gets in, and rides off.
But a large population also suffers mental health issues. So we must have proper counseling, mental health counseling.
A map zooms to Colombo, Sri Lanka. Naluka Gunawadina walks into a house and takes a seat. Her left arm does not extend beyond her long sleeve.
Sri Lanka has been through a 30-year-long civil war, which led to a lot of acquisition of impairments for people, great loss,
Soldiers
disappearances
run,
of people.
attack.
And obviously, when we talk about impairment, both physical and psychosocial impairments, including a high degree of trauma, which I personally feel are not being addressed adequately. The collective trauma that this country has been through when it comes to other potentially trauma-inducing situations like
A
climate-related.
boat floats. Cars and motorbikes drive
We
through
have very
flooded
bad
streets.
flooding, we have landslides. In the face of other disasters and crises, that impact is further compounded.
A woman walks toward a pond in Mannar, Sri Lanka. She does not have a left arm.
This is a low-lying area where water can rise up to your knees. The first thing I'd do if we knew a flood was coming, I'd get my children and head to higher ground.
She wears a bindi.
Once we went to some tall buildings, another time to a church, school, when our area flooded.
Delsan Tamasili holds a baby in her right arm. A young girl stands nearby.
During a flood, I'd carry one of my kids on each side if I had both hands. I'd have to take one child and leave her behind, and then come back and get my other one. Just thinking about it makes me worried and sad. I have to save both my children. I can't do that if I need to leave one while taking the other.
So there are lots of dangers in the long run associated with persons with disabilities facing these frequent kind of climate-related disasters. A lot of people acquire impairments in these kind of emergency situations.
In Satyabadi, India, Pratima Kaur uses a walker.
It was during Cyclone Fanny in 2019 that I became disabled. I was cooking in my kitchen. That's when I saw that a coconut tree was falling down. It was about to hit my son, but when I went out to save him, the tree fell on me.
On Mula, the Maldives, two women sit on a bench facing the waterfront. Interviewer: if any such disaster occurs, such as a tsunami or flood, what can you do to take your daughter to safety?
We don't know.
Zaida Hussein, an elderly woman wearing a blue hijab, responds. She sits next to Miriam Sama.
No one has ever given us instructions on what to do. We can't do anything. There are no facilities for her here. I can't even lift one of her legs. She doesn't know how to say she's 28 years old, but she can say her name on her own. Tell them your name.
Sama presses her hand to her chest.
I don't feel safe sending her out on her own. Because these days we can't even trust the men here. I can't let her out. I'd be neglecting my responsibility if I did. Just let it happen to both of us. My hope is that Allah doesn't show us a day like that.
Text appears over aerial footage of wetlands. In the distance, a mountain range. Structural vulnerabilities to climate change can be reduced through carefully designed and implemented legal policy and process interventions from the local to global that address inequalities based on gender, ethnicity, disability, age, location, and income. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change.
Disability inclusive climate change policies are highly required from our government. I'm not seeing even in the international level also, there is not much discussion about the disability inclusive climate change related policies or intervention.
All of this would be taken into consideration if people with disabilities were at the table when these policies and decisions are being made.
So this is why I say today, a new era begins.
Delegates to the 2022 COP Summit in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt.
Generally, they do not invite people with disabilities in the planning phase, maybe a person or two whom they know, because it is generally assumed that people with disabilities would not know much about the issue.
There's a lack of opportunity, lack of understanding by the policymakers, lack of understanding by the government, and also it is seen as an environmental issue, it's seen as a scientific issue. It is a human rights issue, you know? It is directly impacting my life.
Shaky mobile phone footage shows a bus flipping onto its side.
An issue like climate change requires the expertise of the local people. So each of the local people living there with disabilities, they are experts. They know what is happening in their area. They best know how to adapt, how to be rescued, where the relief centers, the cyclone shelters, the flood shelters, they are real experts.
Text appears over video of an emergency official carrying someone on his back. Others place a man on a stretcher. Each year on June 19th, authorities in the eastern Indian state of Odisha hold cyclone preparation drills. In some communities, that practice includes evacuating and sheltering people with disabilities. Officials say this population is prioritized during real disasters. However, some families say they were unaware of any provisions during Cyclone Fani.
Nobody helped us there in the shelter.
Miley Pili, the Voodoo.
No one gave us anything, and we were on our own. We stayed for 2 to 3 days and we came back.
We were scared. We went to the shelter, but then came back here. We felt troubled. I can't put into words the difficulties we went through.
On the beach, passing by wooden boats, Miley Pili Bhavani clings onto her mother's back. Credits appear over coastal images. Directed by Jason Struther. Edited by Jared Morgan. Original music by Adrian Hernandez. Audio description by Lens 15 Media. Written and performed by Jason Struther. Voiceovers by Deepsa Dao, Abilipsa Dash, Susil Gomar Golda. Production support by Sangeet Bhatnaik, Studio I.O. Quality control by Jessica Cohen and Laura Oliver. With support from the National Geographic Society, the Institute for International Education, and the U.S. Consulate General, Hyderabad. A Lens 15 Media production. Fade to black.